Hey there, YouTube. This is Bro Man Clash, with your host of the most on the East Coast. Well, I know I'm going to be a bit obscure, but at the same time, if you're listening, I got something to, tell y'all, man. You know about Akai Dahlia, all that stuff, Impurity, LF4, and how to wake, Crystal Dark Rose. I watched, Young Blood Fantasy 91, Sonic 93, a few others, That Crazy Cat Lady 2 and Levy Matters, and all that stuff. And I'm looking at all these Sonic characters, Sonic fan characters, basically having all these strengths and minimal weaknesses. But, in essence, it kind of represents, the characters kind of represents, insecurity. The reason why I say insecurity because I admit, like back then, I used to draw my own Sonic characters and all that stuff. Now they transition into their own characters, like some of, Lavin Kitty, like that stuff. All those artists, especially on Tough Set, love his art too. Then, as I was looking back at my old artwork, I noticed that I took some influences from, Legend of Zelda, obviously Sonic, Spyro, Rayman, also with the essence of mysticism and Kingdom Hearts, magic and all that stuff, especially Golden design. But, like the sense of overpowering your character represents your insecurity because you feel as if, oh, I'm too weak, I can't handle this. I can't handle this. But yeah, your character is like super strong as if, it could like that character can conquer the whole world without an issue. But then think about it like this, Akai Dahlia. It's not like a shout out video, to rant on her and all that stuff, but merely like what kind of insecurity does she have? You know, Mainly some say she has autism and some say she has Asperger's. I've been watching various videos, even seen her, so called white knights attack. Let me tell you something, and this is just coming from me and what I noticed and what I pieced together, and the whole Sonic fan base. Basically, what the whole Sonic fan base and any kind of fan base try to do is try to feel like a sense of pride and power when they know within their own menial, normal lives, like we all do, they feel powerless. They have to go to a job. The boss is always bogging them down, telling them like, do this or you're gonna get fired, do that or you're gonna get fired. Do everything under the sun and even kiss ass just to feel great. But then how the way on the internet people portray themselves as like, very sophisticated, very cultural, very, upbeat and very, very out there. But at the same time, when it comes right down to it, it kind of, you gotta ask yourself, you gotta ease back and say, wait a minute, hold on. This isn't me. This is a persona that I'm trying to put out there so I can feel secure about myself. And then how does this deal with the topic of insecurity and how the way it deals with, the appearance of the character? Characters, they gotta look flawless. Either they gotta look tough. They gotta represent something that is somewhat like the opposite of you. And that deals with up here, self-belief. If you disbelieve yourself so damn much, you basically, like your own character will represent the opposite. Think highly of themselves, egotistical, having like fortune, fame. Man, let me tell you something, man. I'm not much of a fortune and fame man, and I'm grateful enough for all the stuff that I have. I have books to read, I need to get cracking on those. Have TV to watch. Good that I don't really watch that much, except aside from news. Have a computer to type all my stuff on. Very grateful for that. And also, roof over my head, clothes on my back, and a cool hat to wear too. But in essence, you gotta ask yourself, man, why should you impress other people, Is it because you feel insecure about yourself? And why should your character reflect your insecurities? That's the analogy I'm getting off of, and all the analogy that I'm getting off of when I see other, fan characters. Like they came from like this very hostile, they're very tough, they're all this, basically they know all kinds of moves and all that stuff. And that's cool, man. You gotta grow up in some form of environment. Like your fantasy self is something that you see within you, but your confident self is a realist, but is also an optimist. Yeah, confidence. Yeah, it's something that people seem to have forgotten a long time ago. Well, majority of people I've seen, they portray like this false flag, like this. Yeah, I know you got a mask on. And I'm just like, well, wait a minute, man. You gotta remember, if you can't handle pressure yourself, why are you putting on facade for? And let me tell you something about Akai. Akai Dahlia. I read some of her comics, but I have like a curious streak, so I just want to know what's gonna happen next. And how way she can't handle criticism and all that stuff. Think about like during the time that you couldn't think about criticism. I know there was a time I couldn't handle criticism. And that was the cool part. You eventually gotta learn to get used to it. And then understand like, well, wait a minute, now I'm starting to see what, these people are talking about. Now I'm starting to see like what's going on with my art. Now I'm starting to see what's going on, like, oh yeah, now I'm starting to see what's really wrong. Cause if I keep on letting this happen, not only development will be stagnant, but also a sense of self-worth will also be like, yeah, we're driven on ego, and ego is the killer of progression. Now, how's this time when Akai Dahlia, or Kai Delia as I pronounce her name, and Purity LF4, all these other Sonic characters that seem to overpower themselves because it represents ego. And as such, with ego comes a form of gratification, though temporary. Now, what does this got to do with anything pertaining to me? I used to be the same way, but I got snapped like that when I was younger, and it kind of hit me. And they say, yeah, you got to get used to criticism, man. My art teacher back then, yeah, well, he still teaches art now, but he's a professional artist. He said, man, what you're doing right there, you're doing it all wrong. He called on me, and I got mad at one point, man, and I told him the truth, that the reason why I came to his classes was because my mom told me to. And he said, you know what, man, since your mom told you, you told you to come to my classes, then don't come back. Basically, he was giving me a choice, meaning me, not my mom, not my grandmother, not my stepfather, not my dad, not anybody but me. And I chose to came back. And then after a while, I understood the meaning of criticism. I remember one time in 10th grade, we had to do like something in a quick, like 1 minute. And I remember this girl just bogged me, man, just heavy down on criticism. And I just wanted to say something, but I just stood like, you know what, man, I could learn something from this. It made me angry. And then there was another guy that I know used to go to my school, but he graduated too. Yeah, we were in the same class. He could draw cars, beautiful artwork, must I say. There are better artists than me, and there are certainly, artists that need to work up to get to me. And then there are certain artists that are beyond my comprehension. I'm just like, kudos to you. And that's nice. But then, he will always sneak each other looking at me weird, like, and I'm just looking at him like, why the hell are you laughing for, fucker? Yeah, that was back then. Then I understood why he was laughing, because he was like, man, your artwork, compared to mine, it sucks. So I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. And I remember he said before, like, I draw artwork here and there, but, like, some cases you're a bit better than me, but in other cases you just suck. And I'm just like, alright, fine. Truth is a bitter pill to swallow. Yeah, the truth, criticism, reality, all those pills that really require change are hard pieces to swallow because in the end, change is hard to do. But when you eventually see it and understand it, you're going to do it. But you know what comes into a blocking halt? Ego, pride. You know how the way parents always tell you, like, what other people tell you, like, don't listen to them, they're bad people and all that stuff. I understand it's for protection, but also that kind of puts like a sense of self-worth that's falsified. And then it's just like, oh, wait a minute, man. And then all of a sudden now your parents are going to be like, yeah, you should listen to this person, man, because, they're telling you the truth. I'm just like, okay, first of all, because I remember you telling me that, all these people who go against me are bad people. Now you telling me that I should listen to them? See, your first hypocrite. Nah, I'm not going to go into that. But, okay, this is what I was going to say. I was going to say that your first motivators and your first doubters, your first hypocritical statements, and your first insiders are also the very same people who brought you into this world. That's right, your parents. They show you what life is like through their eyes, but it's up to you to explore the world. Aside from that sidetrack, dealing with ego, artist pride and all that stuff, there are other people who are better than me. I know that for a fact, and I can admit that. And sometimes that discourages me. But at the same time, as that discourages me, and have an artist block and all that stuff, you start to remember like the reason why you drew in the first place. Because all those people were like, yeah, why are you drawing that, man? You suck. You just wanted to shut them up. Either just a draw or just do that. But that came with self-determination, self-confidence. What does self-confidence do? It lets you listen to criticism, but understand that it's helpful. And some people can't even give criticism, so they just want to sneak out of their mouth and say some slick shit. But at the same time, you can listen to them too and say, like, you know what, man? If I see it in myself, then you're right. You're right. But you know what they say, man? Ultimately, everybody's got the road they should take. But if the road that they ultimately seek damages them, then let them be damaged. But at the same time, if you see that they are struggling and you want to help them, that is a choice. Yes or no, and doing nothing, and also doing something. Those are choices too. Everything is a choice. Letting go ego and understanding is a choice as well. Other than that, this is a good morning to y'all. And I hope y'all have a great day. Bro man Clash gonna fade like ash.